Okay.
You alive?
Oh,
People are
hi!
coming in.
Happy Independence Day, Namibia.
Happy
not dead
Independence
yet.
Day. It's live. Everyone is gonna watch you guys. So I'm on Facebook and also on YouTube. Yeah. And then I'm just introducing you. These are my sisters. They're just like
Yeah.
here to enjoy the
Casually.
casually trying to be here because we're celebrating Independence Day today. Our
There's no one.
there's no one coming.
There's no
There's still
one.
no one, but then
There's
it's
still
going to
no
be
one.
recorded and people will be coming soon.
Oh,
So, guys, meet my darling sisters here. They love my work
Hi.
from a
Hi.
distance.
Yeah.
And today
I'm
we're
eating the
celebrating.
peach.
Right, this is a picture.
Is it
Okay.
good?
The one that you guys using the
Finish it.
emoji.
Okay, just share. It's okay. And today we're celebrating Independence Day and it's a
Mm.
resting day.
You
It's
don't
like
like it?
public holiday.
I don't know.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah, we have a female president. We do.
Yeah,
The future is female. No, we are here. The future
The
we have
future is
arrived.
actually now.
We have arrived.
The future is now. So we're celebrating independence. And so in honor of the celebration of independence, I decided to do a live show that is showing on my YouTube and also on my Facebook. And
Can I have it
before
for a
they go, okay, Liberta, go goodbye. Children, goodbye. Don't disturb mommy. Okay, anyways. So in celebration of independence, I decided to do a live session. I'll most likely be here for about maybe an hour or so, speaking on what I've observed, like all the good stuffs. And also, let me just double check if I am live on Facebook. And while we are waiting for people to come in, let's entertain you guys. Turns out my sisters want to entertain you guys, so it's okay.
Ask me.
Okay, what do you want?
Oh, this is gonna. I wanted to do something special, like ask me 35 questions.
Okay, 35 questions.
Some short sessions. Of
Okay,
35
I'll ask you
questions.
about
Those are a lot
Namibia.
of questions.
Those are
Yeah.
a lot, but
Yeah, we need to celebrate like in that way. 35.
okay, cool.
But those are a lot.
Those are a lot.
Who have time?
10.
We don't
Okay,
have
let me
time.
see. You see
We
here
don't
it
have
is
time.
live. Now I'm live. Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys like questions about Namibia that maybe we can learn something. Do you guys want to sit down? I think that's a good idea. Yeah, sitting down. Yeah. This is nothing official, so you see this? This is literally.
Oh my gosh.
You're looking cute. What do you mean? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm calling my sisters to come here and answer 35 questions about Namibia before they actually go. Because I also want to read you a chapter from my book. I've written a book. This is a Black Girl's Tale of Hope. And within my book, I've spoken about
I'm not nervous. I'm just
chapter
nervous.
4, where I wrote about the land of the brave, my beautiful country, Namibia. And I want to read you all the chapter from this book. And if you want a copy, let me know in my DMs. And also, you can get it on Amazon. It's available. But today we are celebrating a historical moment. Being, first of all, in a long time, like in the last 10 years, I've never celebrated.
It's a lot to
No.
indulge in.
Just relax. Listen, you're a prompt. Stay here as a prompt. Don't disturb. Okay. So in the last 10 years, I've never celebrated independence at home. And now it's my first time in a long time to be here. And I'm so grateful. I'm so excited to be at home and just being with my family, especially, but more so because today I've witnessed the incoming president. For the first time, we are having a female president of Namibia. That is a historical moment in African leadership, but also female leadership. You know what I've observed? I've observed that actually in communities, especially in Africa, a lot of people who are driving like disciplinary, who are driving upbringing of families and all of that, they are female. So to see a female president being elected in Namibia and actually coming to power, that is something very powerful. So I know it is just sending a louder message that women are in charge of families, communities, and more so a country like Namibia. I know we're gonna do it.
Let me
hand
say
in hand.
something. Let me say something.
Okay, go ahead.
Just a little phrase that where women lead, communities thrive. So watch Namibians face, guys.
Watch Namibia thriving. Go Namibia. So yeah, where women lead,
Where women lead, communities thrive.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
says my darling, amazing sister. Yeah. So that's exactly the thing. Communities are being led by female. You're still drinking coffee? Okay, cool. You go on. Communities are being led by female. And there's something about like female leadership that maybe obviously we are gonna teach, not really teach. We're not trying to equalize
I
this.
want to say something.
Okay.
Responsible leadership is
Yes.
what I've observed in Menetumbo. So
Yeah.
I think we're in good hands, guys.
I do believe so. We are in
Responsible
good-
leadership.
She is like a tested leader. She is, of course, comes with a lot of experience, and experience brings wisdom. So we believe that we're gonna,
She's full of wisdom.
yeah, she's gonna take us to
Mhm.
another level. So
Mhm.
that's exactly where we at. Celebrating today, female president, celebrating being at home, celebrating being in communities led by women, and celebrating just the milestones that we have been doing significantly across the African continent for the past few decades, especially in Namibia, where we've seen transition of power, peaceful transition of power, and we're really just grateful for that. So today's 35th independence celebration actually comes to a time where the rain was pouring, like from yesterday to today. It was pouring heavily in the capital city, and people didn't get a chance to actually show up at the national stadium where everybody's gonna like do the big celebration. But still, we've followed with the proceedings
Can
from
I say
our.
something?
Can I just finish?
No, can I just say something?
Okay.
With this whole thing being moved to the state house, I was just concerned about the food, bruh.
Yes, food, please.
Where is the food
Oh my
plate? Where are the
gosh.
food plates,
Yeah,
guys?
yeah, definitely. Like we want the food plates. I hope the president is is watching this live session so that they bring the food at all of our homes, like everyone's
the
house.
food!
We want the food. We want the food. But we're not supposed to be talking about the food in this live session.
Oh my darling.
But it's
Sorry.
fine. It's fine.
With that said, guys, it's a chow from me.
No, stay here because we are gonna do a game. 35 questions. Okay, you guys can just take a break and then I read the chapter and then you guys can come back. Okay?
Alrighty.
Okay, cool. All right.
See you later.
And if I don't come back, guys, enjoy your day.
Ciao, ciao.
I hope you guys can come back still. Anyways, yeah. So I think sometimes it's about understanding that being patriotic about your nation, like your country, it's not necessarily the thing of like what are the benefits and what is a good thing, what is like also forgetting that you guys, can you keep it down? Like forgetting that there are so many issues that are happening in our countries, like especially in African countries, but still because of the nature, the fact that because some people will be like, yeah, we are not celebrating because there's so many things happening, there's poverty, there's all that bad stuff happening. I know that there are a lot of things that are happening and a lot of Namibians are not really maybe doing well, maybe, but at the end of the day, we need to have love of our country so that we can now propel to see, okay, what are the changes that we can at least contribute, and not only taking sole responsibility, like putting everything in the hands of the government. I think every individual should be patriotic about their own nations. Every person should make a portion of significantly trying to change their communities, and then we commonly change the country and all of that. So that's where I'm at. That's how I'm seeing things. And celebrating independence should come at acknowledge that it came with a cost of all of us being here. It has not been an easy journey. Obviously, transformation has been done, but historically, we've also had a time where there was colonial era and all of that. And so we need to acknowledge that celebrating a day like this is important in history and even in our own children's lives, So I think that is what I'm really trying to share across because of this live session, just to celebrate. Let's celebrate and know that we need to have love for our countries, African countries at large, because if you love your country, you will have that love of your nation, right? Despite the challenges that are happening on the ground, we still need to have the love for the nation and respect our own countries and speak about your country with that heart that you're like, okay, I love my country, not just because to say, oh, I need to be at this position and then I need to be like this type of way, or some people are always overlooking the fact that you need to love your country despite the challenges that are happening on the ground. And then when you think like you are part of the country, that's when we can now move forward and say, where can we move the needle? Where can I come in? And I know change is not easy, but still, celebrating a day like this is very important in our own history because our founding fathers, there have been heroes and heroines that actually shed their blood because of today, independence, and living and watching and witnessing a transition of power, especially at the time where we at. I think we ought to be grateful and celebrate that. That's why we are celebrating Namibian independence, and mostly because we are celebrating the incoming president who happened to be female. And that is a very big thing. That's a very big milestone. I was watching the proceedings on the national TV and I was just looking and I'm like, the incoming president, she has a mothery energy, and if you are, in your if you are in a home where you feel like somebody in charge is taking care of all of you, that comes to a cost. Like, okay, it comes with a feeling of like sense, at least there's safety here, there's someone who is in charge and experienced, a person who has ability to lead the nation, and also just you trust who is in leadership. I can attest back to the time when I was growing up, like our parents are going to the village and then we're being left in the we're being left in like at home, and then when the mother is not at home you just feel a certain way. So having I think having knowing that we have gone through certain challenging times, especially for Namibia, we lost a head of state last year, and then this year we also lost a founding father. It is a right time for us to have a motherly love from the president, incoming president, just to at least our hearts are being softened enough, and um our hearts are being soothed through the challenges and the trying times that we are facing. There are a lot of things that we still need to change as a country. For example, I think innovation needs to be improved in our country, especially in Namibia, where I see a lot of opportunities, but we really don't know how to innovatively create opportunities within us, like different sectors. I think that's one of the problem, especially when it comes to production. I see like supermarkets are really packed with just international products. Why don't we have a lot of Namibian products? And also just job creation, I think it's a challenging topic that we need to overcome in the next couple of years. If it's 5 years, significantly it's possible. I've also listened to the incoming president's speech where she have pledged, or she have mentioned that she will be creating jobs, about 500,000 job opportunities for the Namibian people. So I think that is a great vision, right? But I know it also comes with the cost to know that the jobs that are being created should also be really significant jobs, not just because people are going to be employed just because it's employment. For example, look at different ranks and different positions in society. Jobs should come with still value, not just a thing of I'm giving you a job because you need bread and you just need to get this job. But I believe that there's a time that we need to move forward as a country to create jobs that are really innovatively fitting into our economy, so that there's something like significant that if this person actually move out of this job position, at least there should be significant like remarks that okay, this job was creating this opportunity, but at the same time it's something that is really part and parcel, not just a thing of saying I'm creating a job, I'm giving you a job, but the importance and the significance of this job should be calculated. I think that's a place where we need to move forward as a country, to say creating jobs, but jobs that are really fitting in our economical trying times and in economical markets. And that's something that I've observed. Also, one thing I've seen then I felt like it was something really hard to celebrate is knowing that our incoming president is definitely experienced. She has been abroad. She worked like, not just abroad, but she had gone to colonial times where she was part of the liberation struggles, all of that. Of course, she's part of the main political party, and that is a great thing. She has experience, and I feel like she's gonna use a lot of wisdom that already have been implanted by the previous leaders, and that's something good. We want just to see change. We want to see change in our country, and we also want to see significant impact, especially in the economy where we have so much resources, we have so much opportunities, and I would want to see that at least we utilize those opportunities to create a better living environment for our people, especially our Namibian people. So now, without further ado, let me read for you a chapter from my book, A Black Girl's Tale of Hope. This is a book I wrote in 2025. I wrote it in 2022. I believe I've launched this book on 2023, and this is a memoir. It is a true story speaking about an African story, obviously growing up in Namibia, and it's a true story of my life and people that I've shared like bits and bits of with. So you will find me speaking about my country, Namibia, which I love dearly. You can see from this live session, I've spoken about that in my book. Also, I've spoken about historically the people that came before me, my grandparents, my great grandparents, and I've spoken about that in this book. And also I've mentioned on just issues like bullying and in schools. I've spoken on womanhood, how women enter into womanhood, how was my experience like, and all of that. So if you want a copy of my book, you are welcome, obviously, to send me a DM or email me, and I'll be able to get you a copy. But also easily, you can get this copy on Amazon and try to purchase it on Amazon, and you can access it. So A Black Girl's Tale of Hope. It's a memoir of hope by me, Rosalia Shiwever, in a story of an African girl narrating how she grew up in Namibia, the country in the southwest of Africa. In this story, the author shares a hopeful story, born in an African village until she finds herself in the city. The narration from the beginning of how her father met her mother to the tales of how she was championing village lifestyle at a very at every end of the sensational sensational, okay, I'm failing to that word, end of a season in an upbringing indicates how she pivoted through challenges and um, winning through life events, proving that being hopeful for tomorrow is a powerful aspect to navigate with through life. And this story does not only share a hopeful lifestyle of an African girl, however, it also shared the love of one's homeland, Namibia, and one country blessed with brave men and women, surrounded by exotic, beautiful cities. And in this memoir, a memoir of hope, there is a proof of sailing through the hardship experience because of poverty, and yet Namibian communities continue raising hopeful children. And yeah, this is all about the back. This is at the back of the book. And I want to read for you guys a chapter that I spoke about Namibia, my home country. This is how it looks inside. A Black Girl's Tale of Hope. And it's not so long. It's not such a very heavy reading book. You can read it for, I believe, even a day. You can finish it because it has about 128 pages. And if you can read every single minute of a day, you can finish this book. And so I've dedicated this book to my family and friends, to my homeland that will always be my home, to everyone who is trying to find home inside them. I think you can be tested to what is really home for you. You can also be tested to what feels like home. But I'm dedicating this book for everyone who is trying to find a home in one way or the other. And then here, in this context, I've also highlighted on Trevor Noah's book, where Born a Crime. I've read it, and I feel like that was the inspiration behind this book, Trevor Noah's book, Born a Crime. And I said most Black families spend their time trying to fix past problems. That is the curse of being Black and poor, and it is a curse that follows you from generation to generation. My mother calls it the Black tax because the generations who came before you have been pillaged. Instead of being free to use your skills and education to move forward, you lose everything just trying to bring everyone behind you back up to zero. So this is an insert I got from Trevor Noah's book. And then you can see here my content. I have about, how many chapters do I have? I have about 23 chapters in this book. And so I've written up to 23 chapters, and the chapters are really manageable. You can read them literally like in one go. And so it's easy to digest, it's easy for you to read, and it's just easy to like take out the message that I'm trying to give across. So I've written about the first chapter. I spoke about maybe how my parents met, and then chapter 4, which is what I want to share with you, the audience. Chapter 4, it's about the land of the brave, Namibia. Today we're celebrating Namibia, so it's really timely for me to share about my book on today's independence celebration, but also to read the insight that I wrote in this book about Namibia. So I wrote this about my country, the land of the brave, Namibia. Pretty early on, I was mostly close to my mother's family. I had so many aunties and uncles. My grandmother, who gave birth to my mother, had about 10 children. And even though some are late, I still remember the stories my grandmother told us. I remember one significant story that she told us. I have to remember all those stories as I was writing this book. And my grandmother was telling us about my late uncle, who is Uncle Titus, who died during the Namibian colonial times. I've never witnessed this war because I was born after independence. I'm the first generation of post-colonial Namibia, and history took us back to remember all those who blood, watered, and our freedom. It was a very long struggle with so much bloodshed and so many lives lost. Many lives were lost between, thousands of people died during this year period, about 24 years of the colonial struggle. And so from 1966 to 1990, I would say that time people will really lost a lot of people during colonial time. And so I would say that Namibia is the land of the brave because of those who really came before us and fought for the liberation struggle. And those brave men and women who've given up their life for our freedom, we are entirely forever indebted for their dedication for this country. And today I wanted just to read this inset and continue by saying that Namibia is Oshitunda Sho Kuku, which means a hill of our grandparents, Oshilongo Sho Meme, our motherland, Onkero Kevaro, the last born at birth, Namibia Namib, Ngere Otwade Ngere Nuyoma, Ngere. Can you guys keep it low? Ngere Otwade Ngere Nuyoma, Ngeno Teshiturombwere. If we call the founding father, he would tell us about Namibia. And the land of the brave, from the north bordering Angola, in the south greeting the mighty South Africa, with a long face smiling into the Atlantic Ocean, friends with Zambia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Namibia is a friendly land. And go to Namibia and see the contrast of the driest savanna and sparkling Namib Desert, with sandy dunes of marble red sand and shiny golden dunes. And it's the beauty of the sunrises and the smoothness of calm sunsets. It's the loud waves of the energy in the Atlantic Ocean and the freedom of fresh breeze. In the early mornings in Oshana, the land is blessed with smiles of friendly people and hugs of beautiful elephants. If you walk further into the mines, you will step on the rough diamonds and you will be greeted in the Oshiwambo, Rukwangali, Oshiherero, and you hear people say, Ngapi, Ongini, Matisa. You should reply and say hello back. Mothers and children will welcome you, and the brave men of the land will protect you. Namibia, the motherland, today we continue to celebrate you. It's not for you. If it's not for you, we wouldn't be here. And so I want to know that people abroad and people everywhere should come and visit Namibia. So this chapter, I dedicated it to Namibia because of the beauty and the forever in-depthness of knowing that a land like this is where we were born and it's where I was born. Yeah, that's so much love for my country. So the Black Girl's Tale of Hope, it's a true story. It is our story, a Namibian story, where I spoke about just growing up in Namibia, as I mentioned earlier. And I was just speaking now, chapter 4, I think it's really special because I was marveling on the beauty and the love of the country, So yeah, it's that deep. It's that deep. And so the land of the brave, yeah, it's forever in our hearts. And so we should celebrate the country as today's it's the 35th independence, years of independence, and mostly just to instill the love of the nation, knowing that your country is your homeland and you need to beautify and make the place where you live a better home. So I don't know if I'm interested to know if I want to continue and reading some more chapters from the book, because now I'm so much intrigued to read more chapters. But if you want to read more, you should grab a copy. It is available. It's just going for 250, and it's available as well on Amazon. You can search for it. I know people have been complaining that they could not really access. Let me see the comment section. People, women in power. People are saying we are with you. People on Facebook are commenting. And so, yeah, thank you guys for joining this live session. Thank you for being here. And also, I hope that you are celebrating the country's independence wherever you're finding yourself. Maybe it's just really to know that the time that we are celebrating independence, it's also very important to know we should instill history about our country in the young ones, and also just teach patriotism to our young ones so that they grow up knowing that they respect the place where they come from and they also love where they come from. I want to be here maybe until 30 minutes because I was saying 1 hour, but I'm already done reading the first chapter. It's only if I would maybe read it again because it's so sweet. The chapter is so sweet and it's so lovely. And at the end of every chapter, you will see that I've given a quote. And so in chapter 4, I gave a quote saying, we can make our home, find our homes in the world. However, your first home is your first home. And to all of us, we are Namibians. So we need to celebrate that being Namibian and just love of the country. And so maybe I can read for you another chapter from my book, which is chapter 5, speaking about my grandmother, my role model. I have a very amazing grandmother who is such an optimum of hope, resilience, and just she's such a piece of fresh air. I would say that I love her eloquency and also just her intelligence. Even at the age of about 80, over 80 years old, she's still very much like fluent with her mind. I think that's the reason why I wrote about her in my book, because she have given us such a, like great foundation in, especially me witnessing her. So maybe I can tell you about what the stories that my grandmother told me. I can read that chapter as well. It's beautiful. And so my grandmother, my role model, well, my grandmother witnessed the war, even though never went into exile. She has boys who were brave enough to go into exile. And now both of my uncles who went into exile are of late. Uncle Titus, he was one of the men who died in Kasinga Day, 4th May 1978. And Kasinga Day is a national public holiday in Namibia, of course, and the day commemorates the Kasinga massacre that took place, according to the history. Over 400 people, over 400 paratroopers with the South African Air Force were dropped near the town of Kasinga, where it was believed a Namibian refugee camp existed. And bombs were dropped on the Southwest African People Organization refugee camp, as well as the People's Liberation Army of the Namibian military base. And about 400 people were believed to be killed in that attack. And so, according to my grandmother, she witnessed that. Okay, I'm gonna just page through. This is the book, and my grandmother told me that, or believed that, my uncle was also killed in that attack, and my grandmother was pretty young at the time, so she vividly remember she was part of the story, part of the war. For her, she didn't go to fight physically. I would say she took care of her community and my uncles whenever they passed by the homestead. During that time, it was tough to take in, especially for the children. Knowing that your child was actually in exile, it was a tough time, right? And so my grandmother told me that story. And according to my grandmother's story, Namibian soldiers will be walking at different times. During the day, things could seem so normal. And during the night, that's when the real stuff happened, where they were looking for food and they're moving from one village to the next. And so people will be coming into my grandmother's house and they're looking for food. And so they have to maybe get somewhere and find food, right? So some days the colonizers at the time would be also raiding the villages, looking out for which house actually gave food to these local soldiers. So since my grandmother son was gone to fight in the battles, which to an unknown place, my grandmother would occasionally receive uninvited guests from the local soldiers. They would enter in my grandmother's house looking for food at midnight. And the moment my grandmother sees that this is the Namibian soldiers, she would quickly cook some food like porridge, like meat, or maybe not meat, maybe something like spinach, and then she will give the food to the soldiers, because she knows that this is the children of the soil, not entirely like foreigners, right? So she would give food to the soldiers, and she'll also maybe nurse some parts of wounds if they have any problem, and she will take care of them. And so this chapter is actually talking about the stories of what my grandmother told me, like the stories of the liberation struggle. And that's how I got to know more about the story that was going on during the wartime, because I'm still a baby. I still not even an idea or a thought. So yeah. And that would mean that sometimes when people raid the communities or raid the villages, they would try to wipe away all the footprints on the ground, and they will try to just act like they've not seen anyone. And hence my grandmother took part in the war from that angle, taking care of soldiers and also just giving food to the soldiers who would come by, especially not especially, significantly the local soldiers. So at the end of this chapter, I say that grandmothers continue to be our superheroes. When our parents are at work looking for food for us, grandmothers could continue to be with us. And so I have another chapter, the visiting call from God, and then I have another chapter, chapter 11. I'm talking about my days in Sunday school, running away from the bullies, and it's also part of and puzzle of our communities. And I was talking about searching for a silver spoon. And then I spoke about studying, like going to primary school and coming back home from school and all of that. So the Black Girl's Tale of Hope, it's available now. You can get it, you can grab a copy, but I want just to let you know that this is a celebration of our own story, a celebration of our Namibian story. So if you are interested to get a copy, don't forget to let me know. And that is all for today's live session. I hope that I can be making these live sessions. Okay. My sister should need to keep quiet. So I think from now on, I might need to rest because I've been up the whole day, like writing, sharing the blogs on my Facebook. But I will shortly log out of this live session. But what I would like to say is thank you so much for joining today's live session. I will be making more frequent live session, especially on Facebook. The actual plan is to make frequent live sessions, maybe like morning live sessions or evening live sessions. I'm still trying to work with the logistics of what's available. The network is a challenge, but also sometimes it's the focus and the time to do it is the challenge. But I'm more so grateful for all of you to support my journey on social media, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Facebook. I love it, and I'm really grateful. Sometimes I'm making jokes, sometimes I'm very serious, sometimes it's like I'm just teasing all. But yeah, I hope you guys continue to come along with me as I discover this journey of content creation, but most of all because I love sharing stories. Until my next video, I would love you to say that stay humble, stay positive, and work hard towards your goals. And goodbye. That's all from me. Happy Independence Day. Happy celebrating 35 years of independence for our beautiful country, Namibia. Thank you so much, and congratulations for the incoming president, Dr. Nandine Daitwa. We are rallying behind you. We are supporting your projects, and we are so much happy to witness that we are having the first ever female president for the Southern African development communities, but mostly for our Namibian country. So until next time, goodbye. Okay.